Trans rights are human rights. At birth, a sex is assigned to a newborn based on their genitalia. And as the baby continues to grow and understand the concept of gender, they might go through some changes in their feelings towards the subject. I am comfortable with the gender I was assigned at birth, but for some, it is not that simple. I understand it can be hard to comprehend the feeling of going through it, but if you are comfortable with your assigned gender at birth, imagine what it would be like to be the opposite gender. Put yourself in their shoes and think about how you would feel. Now imagine going through this self-discovery of who you want to be, but having this immense fear because society isn't okay with you being transgender. How would you feel being denied healthcare, a job, a place to live, and being treated unfairly because you want to feel happy and comfortable in your own skin? Denying these basic rights to someone is wrong, and no matter one's identity, humans should have their rights. So what exactly does trans mean? Transgender, or trans, is an umbrella term, so it applies to at least 700,000 Americans who feel their internal gender identity does not match the sex they were assigned at birth. There are many other gender identities that people feel match their own, such as transsexual, non-binary, gender non-conforming, genderqueer, gender fluid, and many more. All of them have their own specific meaning, and some people like to keep it simple, while some like to have a very specific label so that they can educate others on how they identify. While all of the genders are valid and not harming anyone, people usually dismiss them and make fun of these labels instead of trying to educate themselves on something new. People identifying with something other than male or female are just trying to be happy and comfortable in their own skin. And judging them and for the way they look or the way they want to identify is practically denying them of their own happiness. While there are many terms in the trans umbrella, I will specifically be talking about transgender and my expert testimony who identifies as genderqueer. Trans people have faced harsh discrimination for a long time. They have more rights now than they used to. Now they can go out of their homes, but there is no guaranteed safety for them. In 1966, a riot erupts after police attempt to arrest rowdy drag queens at Gene Compton's cafeteria in San Francisco. Protesters break windows, throw furniture, and burn down a newsstand. One throws coffee in an officer's face. A lot of drag queens are grouped into the trans community. Some of them may identify with the term and are trans, while some of them aren't, but either way, they're clearly being treated poorly because of what they enjoy doing, just as a transgender person might. In 2007, both houses of Congress passed the Matthew Shepard Act, which would expand the existing federal hate crimes law to include sexual orientation and gender identity. The same day, Rep. Barney Frank introduces a new version of the Employment Non-Discrimination Act that no longer protects transgender people, sparking a controversy that continues even after the bill passes House in November. After 41 years at that point in history, trans people cannot ensure that they are safe from discrimination and hatred, which has to be terrifying for these individuals. Even in the past few years, there's been clear discrimination against trans people. As of July 2017, the Trump administration severely degraded the rights of transgender individuals in the military. Trump's ban and policies make it so transgender people are not afforded equal protections in the military and are banned from military services unless they enlist under the gender they were assigned at birth. This denial can be discouraging to someone who might want to serve their country and can develop some hurtful thoughts. Due to all the discrimination and hatred, transgender suicide rates are alarming and hopefully an eye-opener to people in power to help the trans community. In a new study, 30% of transgender youth report a history of at least one suicide attempt, and nearly 42% report a history of self-injury such as cutting. With more rights for transgender people and normalization of the trans community, society could bring more advocacy and support for people that are in the scary transition in their lives. While most of my speech has been on trans people, I wanted to turn to one of my loved ones that identifies under the trans umbrella and ask them what they have been through and what they think the trans community deserves. Brianna E., my significant other, identifies as genderqueer, which for them means there is no other fine-tipped and better label for me. I feel a wide range of things, and I am not going to whittle it down any further because those labels don't work for me. Next, I asked about their self-discovery and the hardships they have faced identifying as genderqueer. They told me when people don't understand something, they tend to feel like their personal beliefs are being threatened, or they feel attacked for not being into that, when people like me and others just want to be heard, not even understood, just accepted. While they might not speak for everyone, it is important to understand that people like Brianna just want to be accepted and heard by society because they have voices too. Last, I asked how someone should be supportive towards the trans community. They responded with, address people how they want to be addressed. That is the simplest thing and best thing to do. Respect people regardless of your own beliefs, because it's not anyone's business to dictate whether you are allowed to feel the way you feel. Don't make trans people's daily lives harder than it already is. Brianna and many other people in the trans community just want to be treated like you and any other person with equal human rights. Since trans people are frequently denied legal rights, discriminated against, and struggle with their own self-acceptance, there needs to be a change in society and the way that they treat trans people. They are humans, just like you and I. Thank you.